Child language acquisition, 3 little words. So let's take them one at a time. Child. When do you start being a child? For many people, language acquisition starts at around about 12 months when kids say their first word, but don't forget the first year. That first year of life is very important as well, and indeed before you're born, remember there are a couple of months before you're born when you're actually able to perceive in the womb something of the language that's around you. So language acquisition starts earlier than most people think. And it also ends later than most people think. When does child language acquisition stop? Well, in a sense, you know, we're all children. We stay being children all our lives. There's no obvious end point. For learning sounds, of course, there is, and for learning grammar, there is, but vocabulary, I mean, that goes on for the rest of our lives. 1 million or more words in English, and most of us only have a vocabulary of 50, 60, 70,000 words or whatever it is, and so there's always something more to learn. So remember that the two ends of child language acquisition are wider apart than some people think, and that means there's more scope for studying it than most people think. And then language, the language part. Well, remember, it's child languages acquisition. Don't think of child language acquisition as being a monolingual thing. Remember that 3/4 of the world's children are actually reared in a bilingual environment. Half the world's children in a trilingual environment. And so be prepared for language interaction in so many of the kids that one might find oneself studying, and the way the languages work together and how one language trades off against another. That's a fascinating aspect of the whole business as well. And not just languages, by the way, but dialects too. I mean, there might be something like 6,000 languages in the world, but there are, I don't know, over 10,000 dialects in the world, and dialect acquisition is just as much an important part of a subject as anything else. And then language also means the different domains of language acquisition. So we're talking about the acquisition of sounds and of grammar and of vocabulary, as I've mentioned, and of discourse, the patterns of interaction that we have. Don't try and study it all at once. That's pretty well impossible. Look at the articles in the journals of child language. They're focusing on one aspect rather than another. Study the sounds. If you're doing that, don't do the grammar as well. If you're studying the grammar, don't do the sounds as well, at least not to begin with. Otherwise you'll get swamped with data. And then one other thing, the acquisition side of things. If you're studying this, of course, the first thing you'll encounter is lots and lots of different theories of language acquisition. Well, they've all got a truth in them somewhere or other. People don't develop a theory without it being based on some aspect that's reliable, but don't fall into the trap of thinking that only one theory will explain everything. No, there are theories for grammar, there are theories for vocabulary, there are theories for everything. And you need to take the best bits from all these theories in order to produce the best understanding of language acquisition. And the beauty of it is that whatever you do, language acquisition will give you something original to explore.